Everybody wants a premium suitcase, but nobody wants to pay the $1,000 premium prices. The exciting thing is though, a company called Level8 is changing the game with their 20-inch Voyageur carry-on. What used to cost thousands now can be had for a couple $100. So in this video, we're going to give Level8's Voyageur carry-on a proper hands-on review. And then once we've looked this suitcase over properly, I'll show you how to maximize your carry-on allowance and style by pairing it with their Urban Explorer backpack. There's a good chance you're going to start looking at this duo as your travel dream team after you've watched this video, so let's get into it by taking a look at the suitcase. With the exception of a little leaf peeping season dust, this suitcase looks sleek and minimal. But when you really dig into the details of this suitcase, there seems to be a lot of functionality going on. And the first thing you've got to know about it is that this shell here is made out of German Macrolon polycarbonate. What that really means is that this suitcase is super lightweight, but still very durable. It weighs about 8 pounds, which is pretty reasonable for a hard-sided case. And in addition to being lightweight and generally durable, the polycarbonate here has this kind of diamond weave pattern that's just a little more resistant to scratches than other materials might be. There's a solid collection of colors on the Level8 website. I kind of like the all black design here with just a little bit of yellow here on the wheels and then with their Level8 logo right there. But whatever color you would choose, the branding is the same. It's very minimal, stylish, and just has that kind of modern, sleek look to it. And what stands out maybe the most with this suitcase is this handle. It's made out of aluminum alloy, and I'd say it's pretty sturdy and pretty comfortable to grip. But it's really the width that's just kind of unique. It's very, very wide, right? When rolling the suitcase around, it just feels like it gives you a little bit more leverage than the average suitcase that would have a handle that's just about this wide. Having this wider handle also slightly changes how the inside is laid out, at least compared to some other suitcases, so we'll take a look at that in a minute once we open it up. But as for the exterior of this suitcase, one other thing that really stands out are these super smooth 360-degree spinner wheels. They're just very smooth and extremely quiet. And in combination with this handle, I would definitely say once you've got this thing filled up with stuff, you can really notice that the weight just feels a little bit more evenly distributed than I've experienced with other similar sized suitcases. And talking about the exterior here still, the last thing I notice is just how the zippers are very well integrated into the TSA lock, so you can just, pop them in or take them out, and then if you actually use the TSA lock, you can set your code and all that, and TSA can still use their key to get in. And if you're not 100% familiar with what a TSA lock is, all that means is that there's this little keyhole that the TSA can use to unlock your suitcase if they need to take a look inside while your bag's checked in somewhere. So in the end, just on the exterior of the case, that's a pretty lot of functionality. And the height here is just over 21 inches and the capacity is just a little bit over 40 liters. So in essence, this is a standardized international carry-on suitcase and it's gonna fit in most airlines' overhead bins. But all right, let's get down here in the leaves and unzip and pop this sucker open. So basically I'd call the inner layout just as kind of simple, modern, and efficient as the outer layout, but in its own way. This side is just one big compartment. You can get all of your stuff in there. Maybe you've got packing cubes that need to go in here, whatever. And then on the other side, you've actually got kind of 3 different storage spaces. These 2 smaller ones here, we'll come back to those in just a second. But behind them is another huge storage area. So packing cubes or really whatever else you need can go in here. But with these smaller ones, one thing that I would just call kind of thoughtful that I don't usually see in suitcases is that you've actually got a special plastic container here for temporary storage of, I don't know, wet bathing suit or whatever kind of wet stuff you have, just to keep it from destroying everything else in your suitcase. Below that is just a smaller mesh storage area. And then with the handle being as wide as the suitcase, basically you can feel right back here, there's the handlebars. In fact, you can actually just unzip this thing if you want. We can just take a little bit of a look at how this suitcase is constructed. Oh yeah, you see they're just right in there actually. That's how it works. Up here, you lose like a tiny bit of space because it's wider, but I think overall when you would have another suitcase that's taking up this whole area, you gain a little bit of extra space that you might lose using another suitcase that doesn't have as wide a handle. So yeah, you've kind of got 4 compartments in here, one larger one on each side, and then these 2 functional smaller ones on my right side here. But this suitcase is just not like overloaded with gimmicks or overly complex stuff that might or might not be useful to you sometimes. And one other thing that really stood out with this Voyageur 20-inch, at least for me, is how confident Level 8 is in the quality of their product. This thing comes with a lifetime warranty. It covers all the functional parts, so wheels, handles, zippers, and the shell here. For me, that's a pretty good sign that this suitcase is durable and built to last. Now, while this carry-on suitcase is definitely useful on its own, Level 8 also designed the urban backpack to go with it. I mean, these two products are really built to go with each other. You can see there's this little strap in the middle of the backpack, so you just raise up the handle as you normally would while taking it around somewhere in the airport or wherever. And then because of the unique design, the backpack can actually sit securely atop the suitcase while you roll it around. This backpack itself is like right around or maybe exactly 19 liters. And within the backpack, there's a few different compartments. The kind of main one, I guess you'd call it here, is built in the clamshell style, and there's a lot of useful places that you can store small things here, and also a zippered mesh pocket on the other end here. Then there's another pretty large compartment here that's basically your laptop area. It doesn't open in the whole clamshell style like that other one, but you've got a little secret space right here to store, I don't know, cables, flash drive, whatever it is, and then a whole laptop sleeve. And the material for the laptop sleeve here on the back is really nice. It's like kind of velvety. And this is very thick. And honestly, that is a problem I've experienced with some other backpacks, is that this part basically just isn't cushy enough, isn't thick enough. So here they've definitely done a good job of putting very soft material that also has that kind of premium feel to it. I could definitely see myself doing 10,000 or 20,000 steps with this backpack on my back and a laptop in it comfortably. Plus the last thing is there's this kind of hidden-ish pocket here. So you've got a few little, I don't know, they're like pencil holders, a little bit hard to show you. You can't see in there that well. And then another little sleeve to help keep you as organized as possible. The exterior of the backpack is also water resistant. It's twill nylon with a few leather accents around. Plus, if you were ever traveling on low-cost airlines for a shorter trip and just didn't feel like paying that extra baggage fee for your full-size carry-on that time, you could probably get away with a few nights with just this backpack. But still, when you combine these two products together, you basically get the dream team of carry-on travel. The suitcase can give you durability and uncomplicated structure, while the backpack gives you a place to put your tech and other essentials. I mean, they really just look good and function well together. So I mean, overall, the Level 8 Voyageur 20-inch carry-on suitcase just seems like a well-built and thoughtfully designed suitcase. When you add in the urban backpack, you've really got everything you need for shorter or longer trips. They obviously function very, very well together, but depending on the kind of travel you do, you can also just check out one or the other. I'll leave you some links down below that include a special discount if you want to check either or both of these products out. Let us know in the comments if you prefer to travel with a roller suitcase like this one plus a backpack, or if you just try to fit everything in one bag usually. But that's it for this video. Thanks so much to Level 8 for sponsoring it, and I'll see you all in the next one.